Hey crew, I've got the key to this 25 Chevy Suburban Z71, and over the next couple days, my family and I are gonna take it on a road trip. We're starting out here in downtown Dallas. We're gonna work our way through Waco, get to Fredericksburg, and end up in Austin. So let's check out our Chariot. The 25 Suburban does get a styling update and some new content. There are these new lighting signatures that look cool. Z71 has those red accents, gloss black details around, 20-inch wheels wrapped in Goodyear Wrangler all-terrain tires. There's a lifted suspension on the Z71, running boards there along the side. This one's painted in a color called dark gray ash, but it's got a very olive green hue to it. I dig the color a lot. The length of the Suburban cannot be understated. It fully fills out this parking space. Not a whole lot shorter, in fact, than that F350 over there that's doing the same thing to its parking space. Then we get to the back after the long walk, and we see this Duramax badge on the tailgate. That indicates it has one of the three different powertrain options, a 3-liter turbo diesel V6, and it now makes more power for 305 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque. There's the quad outlet exhaust system, also a nice touch. I'm really digging the styling of the 25 Suburban. It's gonna be a cool looking rig for our ride. Now let's check out the interior. When first getting inside, with the key fob in my pocket, I can press on this chrome button on any of the 4 door handles, and that's going to unlock all doors, power unfold those door mirrors, and I specifically moved this Suburban to a parking space next to another vehicle to show you the door opening space. That's one defined notch. Obviously, I'm very far away from the car, but I can actually still get inside pretty easily this way. Also, I can go 2 notches, still not touch that vehicle, and have a much easier entry point. Using that running board, it would be nice if there was a grab handle on this side like there is on the passenger side, but I do have one above my head. And closing up that door. Hello cabin crew, thanks for joining for this road trip edition of the 25 Chevy Suburban Z71. Now it's pretty clear, but in this video, I wanna see if you can take a long journey comfortably with space and when using that Duramax V6 diesel, what the fuel economy and drivability is like. Let's fire it up now. Without much fanfare, both in terms of volume and in vibration of the vehicle, the V6 is on. And let's go listen to that diesel from outside. There will be some competing noises of the city around us. I'm not gonna go to the back of the truck because with the diesel, usually the noise will come from the engine bay. And indeed, I can hear a little of the clatter of that motor, but it's really not bad at all. Oh my gosh, just noticed that wall art. It's amazing. I want my baby to be that swole. Now, before I get going here, let me show you where I would stick some of the items I'm gonna bring with me. Got my smartphone on the giant wireless charging pad, and then behind that, my sunglasses are hanging out on this open tray. I wish there was dedicated sunglass storage maybe above my head, but alas, that's where those are going. Key fob just sitting in the cup holder. Inside this giant console, there's plenty of room for my GoPro accessories and my wallet and other things. Then in the door pocket on the lower rung, I have space for my 32-ounce water bottle. And there are just cubbies stashed everywhere throughout this cabin. Got 2 levels of storage inside the door, and then on the side of the console, there are sleeves, and the glove box is huge. I mean, you're gonna find spots for everything you'll wanna bring with you, whatever the distance journey. Now let's check out the rear passenger accommodations. First, the car seats for my kiddos. I installed one in each of the captain's chairs of this Z71 trim, and I wanted a challenge. Typically, I put the rear-facing car seat behind my wife's seat on the passenger side, but I wanted to see if it could go behind my driver's seat at 6 feet tall without me moving the seat. And yes, it does. There's still inches of room between the 16-inch screen and the back of the seat. And installing these was really simple. Finding the lower latch anchors, getting them in here with these wide opening doors. They actually go another notch beyond this that we're seeing here, and getting to the top tether on the passenger side was a breeze as well. And before I pull these car seats out to show you what it's like to sit in the captain's chairs, I just need to give you a little demonstration of all the space inside this cabin. So, running board, grab handle. I'm just gonna walk between the forward-facing car seat and the screen, now along the alley to the third row. Didn't need to move this seat at all. And now behind that seat, once again, it's 6 feet tall. I've got inches of knee room here. I can slide this foot forward a little bit, but I don't have as much thigh support as I'd like. This one though, fully extended out with the captain's chairs, and I am lounging back here. Once again, with headroom, a couple inches of it above my head actually. Air vents up here, that's gonna be necessary. I've got a USB-C port on either side. A little cup holder. I wish there was some padding for my arm. You only get that in the Escalade, I think. But this is so spacious, so nice. Here is a head scratcher for me though. Despite all this room, they chose to not put lower latch anchors in the third row. That means you can't put a rear-facing car seat back there, only forward-facing ones. I've now extracted the car seats and I just put them behind the third row, not strategically because there's so much room. And okay, my head just rustled against the top of this tailgate. So if you're taller than me, this might be a concern because you can adjust the height at which it opens, but this is the max height. Be warned, tall people. Now let's see about the captain's chairs for adults. Behind my seat, I've got so much knee room and I can slide my feet forward under those foot pockets. I've got thigh supports. If I wanted to give the third row passengers more legroom, I could by sliding the seat forward, but it's just not necessary as we saw. If I didn't care at all what they thought, I'd recline the seat really far back and then take a nap. And there's a third zone of climate. I've got 2 USB-C ports, 2 HDMI ports to hook up things to these 16-inch displays. They've got updated software, they're quick responding and very high resolution. There are cup holders up top. Got heated seats for the captain's chairs, AC outlet down low to charge anything you need, and a panoramic sunroof up top to blind you with the sunlight. And then after you've gotten too warm, there are air vents up top to cool you back down. And they've also got hooks here to hang up your dry cleaning. I actually used those on the last road trip in the Escalade V. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. Now, I need to go collect my family, reinstall these car seats, because we are going to the State Fair of Texas. All right, got the whole fam loaded up, and we are headed to the State Fair of Texas. Who's excited?
We get to see Big Tex.
Yes.
Big Tex, Big Tex.
Is that what they say? I think that's not what they say.
I don't think you're supposed to go that way.
130 East, because I can follow it on the giant screen. This is a really nice, vivid display now, despite the big screen and my optimism. Still managed to go the wrong way. My bad. Anyway, we are now going the correct way, I believe.
Are we?
This is what we've learned very initially. 2 things. 1, I'm holding up 1 finger. 2 things. It's a little confusing. Downtown Dallas, confusing, especially city centers, but even the highways. If you're not from here, it takes a little getting used to. And in our case, getting used to takes us out of the way an extra 10 minutes, even though it's only supposed to be a 6 to 8 minute drive to the State Fair of Texas. Now we're going the right direction. Second thing, I'm reminded of how giant this vehicle is. The extra 15 inches, look at that, that's a Tahoe. This is another 15 inches more than that, lengthwise. That means it requires confidence and knowledge of the dimensions of your vehicle, and also just presuming that people that are in smaller vehicles might perhaps move out of the way. So it can be a good thing in that regard. I am just initially enjoying how high up we are. We can see everything.
Oh, yeah,
you can see the Ferris wheel over there.
We rode on that one last week.
I know, because you were just here and yet you didn't tell me what to do.
I did.
You probably did, and I wasn't listening.
You didn't listen. Thank you.
Oh, that's fair.
We have that on camera. You didn't listen.
We're just gonna edit that part out. Moving around town, it's easy to modulate those brakes, smoothly come up to a stop, and then the diesel has tons of low-end torque, but it's very easy to feather the throttle and just get up to speed. Hear a little of that diesel clatter. Not too bad though. And I love the steering. It's easy to direct this big burb. Tally likes calling it the burb. Right, Tally? It's the burb. It's the burb, and we're almost at the fair.
It's the burb.
And the first thing we see upon walking into the fair is all of Chevy's competitors. We got Toyota up there. We got Ford just over there. Ram right here. This is an unbiased video. We include everyone. See, this is how little I actually knew. Big Tex, actually a thing. Overstimulation Alley.
Get ready, get set. Here comes that water. Fill her up. There they go, off and racing, off and chasing, shoot it in the middle, get it there, keep it there.
So exciting.
Take it out.
Yeah.
Orange light. Where's it at? Who's it at? Number 20, the guy with the GoPro.
Woohoo!
Good job.
way. Woohoo! So it turns out I'm decent at fair games. I had to win a second stuffy for my other daughter, and it worked out. Yeehaw! Whoa. We are way up here, everybody. And what's a fair without a very unique dessert, like a Biscoff coated cheesecake on a stick? That was incredible. And we're just about ready to start our road trip. That means loading up our luggage first in the trunk of the Suburban. And though I think I could actually get everything in behind the third row, I'm gonna fold down one of the sides of the seats. And it stows really quickly. Kids are already loaded in. Here come the bags. That looks to be everything. We've got a cow and a cooler in between the captain's chairs, coffee in the cup holders. We're doing well with the C words. What do we got? Cargo in the trunk of the Suburban, loaded up neatly with room to spare, enough for a stroller that folds with a single hand and stows perfectly right there. It fits! And Chevy was kind enough to provide a Roku device to hook up so Talia can watch Bluey on our trip with her wireless Bluetooth headphones. Shall we, my lady?
Yes, we shall. We're gonna be the last to arrive.
But the first in fun. Oh, okay. Spun that well. That was good for me. Bop it around the city. The ride quality is actually great, isn't it?
I was providing the acoustics to
thank
your
you.
song.
Appreciate that with the rattling ice. But we don't hear rattles or squeaks or bops in the burb. And the adaptive dampers, the magnetic ride control, provides such a smooth ride over the bricks and the broken pavement.
Yeah, the roads here actually
great.
Need some work.
Yeah, but they don't care because in the Suburban, it's really smooth. Okay, I just dropped Mobile Mama at this Whole Foods here, and I'm going to attempt to parallel park this barge in this space that is probably just big enough for the Suburban. We're gonna see. Hopefully, we're gonna clear it. Almost there. Using all the different cameras to make my approach perfectly. We did it. You can park a big barge in a parallel spot. We're on our journey. We've got about 4 hours until we get to Fredericksburg, with some stops along the way, I think in Waco and maybe at a Buc-ees. Maybe we'll try to visit there. I've never been.
Definitely.
Yeah, we've got to go. I've never been, and I've heard amazing things about it, so we will stop along the way. Right now, I've got adaptive cruise control going and a lane keep assist. What I don't have here on this Z71.
Super Cruise?
Super Cruise, yeah. How much have we loved Super Cruise?
We really love Super Cruise. It just takes out a lot of the driver fatigue when you're on the highway, going for a long time.
Hands off driving, it's gonna change lanes for you. Obviously, it'll do all the other things, the adaptive cruise control, which I do have going right now, and that is nice, not having to do the throttle and braking. But not having to worry about staying in the center of the lane, so nice. Here, if I depart the lane...
Sorry, cutting you off.
No, I was gonna say, here, if I just depart the lane a little bit, it'll bring me back in, correct me, as it's now doing, but it won't like hold the center of the lane.
Well, especially when you're someplace where you're not familiar, like Texas, and these roads are pretty nuts on the highway.
Yeah.
It's a little confusing.
It's not an excuse to tune out. Like, obviously, you gotta stay tuned in.
No, I'm saying then you could focus on where do I need to go.
Good point.
Looking at the directions, because you're like, uh-oh, I don't have to worry about staying in my lane.
Center,
I need to figure out where I need to be.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Here on the highway now, we're cruising at 70, and apart from me talking, if I quiet up for a sec, it's so quiet in here.
It is quiet.
For being a giant brick hurtling through the air.
You hear some wind noise, but overall it's like
little tire noise,
so
not much
quiet.
hum from those all-terrains at all.
Yeah.
The diesel engine is silent. You can hear some of the passing traffic. But this is really quiet, and these seats are pretty comfortable. You comfy?
Yeah, I'm
They don't look comfortable, but they look just like slabs of leather, but they're actually really comfortable.
Yeah, not much shape.
No.
But they're fine.
I do wish they had ventilation, because it's going to be like 93 today and 95 tomorrow.
Just heated seats.
Just heated seats. That would be nice. But I guess that's when you spring for the Yukon Denali, and that's when you spring for the Escalade. You want all those features. Speaking of Yukons and other versions of Suburban, I personally, and my whole family, has a long history with the Suburban. My dad had a mattress manufacturing company growing up, and he would buy a Suburban and use it to deliver beds to people. And first we had a 94 with the barn doors and the really blocky shape. I love that generation of Suburban. And then we got the 2000, the much more rounded one, and we went to the full lift back on that one. We chose not to get the barn doors anymore. And then in like 2008 or something, he got a Yukon Denali XL. We always had the biggest size of that SUV from whichever GM brand it was. And I loved it. I loved all the space. It was comfortable. It always had a V8. It had power. It sounded great. And you could bring all the friends you wanted, all the stuff you wanted. In fact, in high school...
Oh, put a disclaimer out
Disclaimer,
first.
I have to. Okay, in high school, this is not something I recommend doing. It was just what I did in my younger, more scandalous years.
Don't copy Miles' behavior.
Copy this. I took out the seats in the back, and I would just let my friends flail around when I drove.
Oh, boy.
Enthusiastically.
Do your parents know this?
I don't think so.
They're going to find out right now.
They are going to find out now. So being back behind the wheel of one is really cool. And having it be so much more advanced now than it ever was when I grew up with it. The big screens and all the tech and the driving assistance features. I think if it continues like this, this is going to be a great road trip companion for us.
Especially that the kids are asleep now,
They're
too.
already asleep. They love the burb. So bring on the miles. Not me, just the actual miles for driving. I swapped out with Mobile Mama just in time for her to show off her parallel parking skills as we stop here in Waco to visit Magnolia Market of Chip and Joanna Gaines.
So that means I get this car
Because you can park it? Yeah, I guess so. Oh, I'm not going to give it to you. Someone else is going to have to give it to you. We can ask Chevy. You want to just give us one, please? Mobile Mama can park it. That's good enough, right? Yeah. All right, should we go get some goods?
Let's get some market goods.
Market goods. This is pretty cool. You got the giant silos there, a place for the kids to play, and food trucks just yonder. Okay, we found a shady spot. We chose our preferred food trucks. I decided on chicken pasta pomodoro. They've got mac and cheese, and we've got our lemonade. And the perfect answer to a 95-degree day, a snow cone. I promised I'd get the AC going while the girls are doing some hat shopping, so let's just remote start. And the truck stays locked. Well, we hung out in Waco for a little longer than we'd planned because we were having a great time, but that does mean we still have to get to Fredericksburg. That's 2 hours and 11 minutes away from here, and we've already been on the road from Waco for about an hour. So there is plenty of seat time in the burb. And Christina has migrated her way to the third row. And I'm curious, what do you think of it?
Well, I was trying to take a break.
Oh, for me?
Oh. I wouldn't say that.
Good. What would you say?
I like that I can see what's going on back here with the kids.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's good. I really like it back here.
Yep.
It's really spacious. It's not bumpy. I can hear everything. Can you hear me easily back there?
I can. I mean, easier for you to go to me and me hear you than you hearing me, right? Or can you hear me?
Actually not bad at all.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
What would you say to some tunes? Should we try the Bose sound system?
Yes.
Okay. Let's
Here,
give that
baby.
a shot.
Do you need me to take something?
The giant volume knob. Ooh. It's not even halfway.
Whoa. Romy likes it.
Yeah, Romy likes any tunes. She stopped her reading of her novels. She actually does have books. She's just like, oh. That's some heavy dose of bass there.
Do you like it, Romy? Yeah.
I like it.
Sounds good.
And you can't even hear that semi-truck out there. Okay, so half volume, that's wild. For Bose, that's pretty amazing. What did you think,
She
Christina?
says more.
Romy says more, so she clearly gives us the thumbs up. Talia, what do you think?
She has her headphones on
She's
watching
listening
Bluey.
to Bluey. Okay, fine.
So yes, it's a go. It's a
It's
yes.
a go. We all think that's a great sound system. It is going to be road trip approved. We had to continue because Romy just wants more. But we'll pause for a sec, just because you might be curious how the pickup is in the mid-range from this diesel. You know, it doesn't have so much horsepower, 305, but it's got almost 500 pound-feet of torque. So I've paused cruise control to see in the mid-range. Put my foot down. We're getting there. And we picked up about 20 miles per hour after a little while. So you do have to plan your passes a bit more in advance than you would with the 420 horsepower 6.2 liter V8 that you can get in this truck. But in exchange, you're going to get better fuel economy. And either way, it's a smooth transition between the gears with the 10-speed auto. Alternatively, from a dig, there's the torque. And then it kind of levels off. And goes back to being kind of slow. There we go. We're around at 60. I want to say that took maybe 8 seconds. I don't have my race box with me, but it wasn't that fast. We've left the highway and now we are on a more scenic country road. And this is a chance to see how the Burb Z71 feels taking some curves. And I didn't do that 0 to 60, by the way, in the sport drive mode, but I'm in sport now. So hopefully the throttle response is peppier. A little more so. And I praised the steering briefly around town, but it really is good.
This is impressive.
It's kind of a tighter ratio rack and a smaller steering wheel than some like actual bus looking wheels. It feels very confident in the curves. Not as much body roll as I expected. We're on all-terrain tires too. What do you think, Christina?
I feel like it's solid back here too. I'm not sloshed around. I'm just,
Nice.
I'm hanging out
All
in the
right.
same spot.
And
this is great.
This is just much better to look at than highway. Okay, go ahead. Your game of would you
Okay,
rather.
I'm doing the kids version, so it's okay.
Of course.
Tolly, would you rather have a unicorn or a robot?
Oof.
Okay.
Stuffy.
At your house. Oh, unicorn. She was set. She didn't even have to think
Same, because then the robot's going to start thinking for itself, and then it just.
about it. Okay,
That's the adult
I
version.
didn't
Okay.
ask you yet.
All right, that's fine.
Would you rather have a unicorn or a robot, Dad?
I would also rather have a unicorn, just for the wow factor.
Okay.
It's sort of like owning a supercar, right? It's a conversation starter. Robot is a conversation killer because it just comes in and it knows everything, and like I said, it wants to take over.
Or it could do stuff for you.
Maybe.
I would rather have a robot because I'm going to have it just do chores around the house,
What was that
and
animal?
then I'd have a lot more free time.
Maybe a raccoon.
Okay, Romy, what would you want? Hi, a unicorn or a robot? She's hiding under a book. Okay.
I think she'd rather have a cow, like the cow I won her last night. All right, Christina,
Yay,
question to you.
yay.
Would you rather have a unicorn or a robot?
Oh, I already answered.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Oh,
What'd you say?
This is marriage right here.
Oh, yeah.
What
wasn't
did I
listening.
say, honey?
You said
Oh, wow.
unicorn.
Nope.
Dang it. 50-50 shot and
I
I failed.
even said the reason why I would want a robot. Thank you, Talia. Why did I want a robot?
Making me look bad, Talia? I was focused on driving.
No, you weren't.
I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
This has been happening all trip long.
Well,
And back home.
that's fine.
Listening skills. Talia, why did I want a robot?
Because you wanted to
Yeah!
Oh.
She's a good listener. Ding, ding, ding.
Since we are running a bit behind, we're not going to have a chance to stop at Buc-ees today, but Chevy did hook us up with a bunch of different Buc-ees snacks, and what's a good road trip without good snacks? So we're now going to do a sampling of what was provided. We had the caramel corn, which you guys liked, right?
Yes, it was too sweet for you.
I thought it was too sweet, okay? Instead, I preferred these Buc-ees beaver nuggets.
Even though they're the same amount of sugar.
It tastes like less to me. These
And they're
taste like
not
maple
good.
syrup in
Not
a
good.
puffy rice crisp thing. I think they're
Talia,
delicious.
did we like them? No,
No,
we didn't.
no one else in the
No,
car
we didn't
liked
like
them. It was
those
just me.
beaver
That's
nuggets.
fine. More for me. There's a giant bag of them to make myself sick with. We also had these ranch crackers, ranchin crackers.
Which I didn't try. Did you like it?
I thought they were kind of good. They taste, it's kind of weird. They taste like, you know those saltine cracker things
Yeah.
you get from like seafood
Oh,
restaurants?
yeah. Or like you put on your clam chowder.
Yes,
Yeah.
but those with
With-
ranch on them.
Oh.
And it kind of worked. Ranch
Like ranch
flavoring.
Doritos?
Like ranch Dorito flavoring
But-
on
okay,
those.
got
And those
it.
were tasty. There's this jerky here that no one else seemed to like, but I didn't
liked
actually
it.
try it.
I liked it.
You liked it? Okay.
Yeah, it was peppery.
Mobile Mama liked it. I'm going to try a bite here right now. Oh, that's good. That's good. Peppery, sweet, a little bit of sweet, not too much. Good texture. It's nice and moist. Can you say that about jerky? Jerky's dried out beef. But somehow that one still has a little bit of moisture in it. I like that there's spots for all these snacks just here on the center console, so I don't have to just reach out dangerously and grab anything while driving. Okay, Mobile Mama, you've been taking us on this final leg. We got 10 minutes until we're in Fredericksburg.
Woo!
And
relatively, smooth sailing, I would say.
It's been pretty great, honestly.
It's been fun.
Yes, and there are a couple things we wanted to point out before we got there. I've noticed as the sun has gotten as the sun has gotten lower.
I've noticed as the sun's gotten lower.
Oh my gosh.
I'm beginning to have some troubler.
That's insulting. You see the moon. Talia sees the moon. We wanted to let you know Talia sees the moon. We also wanted to let you know as the sun gets lower and it's beaming in our face, I've really appreciated how big these sun visors are and the fact that they slide to fully cover wherever the sun is shining on your face. It was great as a passenger. It's great as a driver.
Yeah, could you put it back and block the sun, please? Thank you. But
You're welcome.
I do want to say I'm a little disappointed that there are no sunshades in the second row for the kiddos because they have some big windows back there.
It's true.
And as we were driving, I was like, ugh, it would be nice to have some sunshades.
Yeah, I mean, the windows are tinted to cut down on the heat, but they're still getting a lot of light.
Yeah, it's not getting hot in here.
No.
It's more so just like light to the face when they're napping.
You know we're making a right turn.
I do.
Okay, just making sure.
I'm aware.
I'm the only one who's going to get lost on this trip. Mobile Mama's not getting lost.
Whoa.
She's really,
but I might
she's
go past
overcooking
it.
the turn there.
Holy smokes. I made it.
Turning radius actually isn't bad.
The Lutheran Church welcomes you.
And we made it to Fredericksburg.
Woo!
And just in the nick of time because 50% of the car has used the bathroom in their seats. And I'll let you guess which 50% it is.
Oh my God.
Not it. We are starting this new day here at the Sky Resort in Texas with a quick review of this E-Z-GO Elite electric golf cart. And I've got my two co-pilots here, and we are in search of some deer and antelope. Initial impressions. There is plenty of power to this cart. I'm not even accessing a small portion of it. Trying to keep things at low speeds for safety.
Look at those grasshoppers.
Yeah, there's some big grasshoppers hopping around. Whoa, they may be praying mantis or locusts. Honestly, I'm not super familiar with the species, but this cart is making a lot of squeaks from the roof panel. The ride's a bit choppy, but the tire sidewall is giving us some cushion to absorb the bumps and bruises. Well, still no deer, but we do see a Mobile Mama in her natural habitat filming. Don't get too close. Back on the road, this E-Z-GO is so much more graceful. We can pick up some speed. You guys ready for a little blast off? Okay, 3, 2, 1. Woohoo! Not bad. Got up to 17 before the regen braking slowed us down. Didn't even need to go to the pedal. Perfect. And we found some deer. They've herded together.
The antler one, there it is.
There's the antler one. He was scaring away the other ones. They seem to have found something interesting over here. He's the boss, the antler guy's the boss.
And they're running away from the boss because he's trying to
Oh, I think he's scaring them away.
And then the antler's gonna scare that one away because
They're not too skittish. Just roll up close to him. Yeah, the baby.
Oh, that's their baby.
Well, this has been fun, but let's get back to the burb for a different adventure, shall we?
Yeah.
But not before I briefly pause to admire this 1946 Chevy Suburban and a color-coordinated 1990 burb. You can see the dramatic evolution of design as the decades passed. And on the 90, see these fabric seats, and there are leather seats in the 46. Oh, how the burb has grown. As we roll through downtown Fredericksburg, we are en route to our final destination in Austin, Texas. And we are gonna stop at Buc-ees. We have to. To get the full experience, we gotta do it.
I just just found a coffee place.
Oh,
That's
coffee
okay.
spot.
It's all right. Let's
We could
move
try out
on.
the turning radius. A full turning radius test. Should we do it?
It's called Java Ranch. I don't even know if it's good.
Well, Java Ranch sounds interesting, so I think we should try it. Okay, here we go. Turning radius test. I'm gonna crank the wheel and try not to make contact with this Corvette.
Yeah. No.
And we do it.
Oh.
That's pretty impressive. For this size of truck, that's great. So Christina got Java Ranch, and we kind of wish she hadn't, because this is a miss, guys. By the way, super cool area. Like,
Yes.
there was an old Buick dealership that they had turned into like a shopping center thing. I just loved the throwback. Back to the Suburban, and a couple things I didn't bring up yet that I would like to. One is visibility. So it's a big truck. Can you see out of it? For the most part, but there is a big blind spot at that C-pillar, and it doesn't help all that much that you can fold down the headrest individually back there. But yeah, the blind spot is pretty big. Thankfully, you do have blind spot monitoring. The one thing I wish was better would be the door mirrors. They're not that large. For this long of a vehicle, I find myself having to crane my neck more than a few times just to see past it. I wish they stuck out a bit wider.
And another thing I wish it had is a digital rear view mirror.
Yes, I agree. Our truck isn't completely loaded up, but if it was, if there were people in the third row, if we had baggage piled up high, you could not see through that with this standard rear view mirror, but you could if it had the digital rear view. Maybe an option, but
Yeah,
it's
it
just
might
not
be an
equipped to
option,
our
'cause
vehicle.
They have it on other vehicles.
Yeah, like on the high country, you're definitely gonna
Right.
get the digital rear view, but it's just not here as standard on the C71, and I wish it was. Another point worth bringing up is the adjusting air suspension on this truck right here. I mentioned the magnetic ride control adaptive dampers and why they make ride compliance so nice, but the air suspension will lower down the height of the Z71 when you're on the highway, so you have less wind resistance, improves fuel economy, and also the air suspension is aiding that ride compliance, so this thing just cruises at speed. And before making any other points, before we get to Buc-ees, I have to just go quiet for a second, give us some ASMR of this gorgeous backcountry road scenery for what is just a tremendous drive. Wish I was back in Texas.
You are.
The ocean's no place for a squirrel.
You're in Texas.
Wish I was in Texas.
Everyone say you're in
Prettiest
Texas.
place in the world. Oh, wow.
Daddy did it.
When I'm so far from you, Texas,
What's up
all
with
I
it?
can do is cry.
Say you're not far from Texas. You're there.
Anyone know what that's from? Sandy Cheeks, SpongeBob. It just keeps popping into my head. I don't know why. Because we're here in Texas,
I
and
don't
we're
think
almost.
they want to hear you sing anymore, babe.
I don't care. That's fine. I don't have a singer's voice. It's fine. We're
Neither
almost
do
to
I.
Buc-ees, everyone. Which, if you didn't know, is actually a gas station, but not just a gas station. It's a mega gas station. There's not just one of them. There's multiple. But every time I've driven by one, I've just like.
How many times have you driven by?
At least a few. I've been to Texas a few times.
Oh, okay.
And I just never went in. But
Oh,
they're
okay.
just massive. And so I'm so excited.
This is a first for everyone in the car.
Yes. And we are going to put a little bit of diesel back in this 28-gallon tank. And the EPA rates the Z71 Burb with the diesel engine at 21 mpg in the city, 27 on the highway, and 23 combined. If you got 23 combined, then you'd have a fuel range of 644 miles. But if you were just doing highway driving, you could have a fuel range of over 700 miles. And over our 371 miles that we've driven thus far, we've been averaging 19.4 miles per gallon. But as we can see here, the average for the vehicle has been 25 miles per gallon, and the best was just under 30 miles per gallon. The diesel motor can save you money. And here we are, everyone, being blinded by the sun. There it is. The beaver of Buc-ees. And you think this is just parking? No, these are all fuel stations. This is insane. For someone coming from SoCal, where the biggest fuel station has maybe like 10 actual units,
Yeah. But I feel like this is the equivalent of Costco.
Yeah,
Except
but like
on steroids.
Yeah,
with
exactly.
Gas.
With gas, this is just nuts.
Yeah.
We don't have anything like this where we live. This is so cool.
Yeah.
Just like pick your poison. Which one do you want? And with the fuel tank on our left, I need to find a station that matches up. We've got one here. And the green hose and nozzle means diesel. And at these prices of $2.93 for a gallon of diesel, it's gonna cost me just 82 bucks to fill this 28-gallon tank. Gosh, I love the prices here. And capless fueling, love that too. All right, now let's see what all the fuss is about. Oh my goodness. This is incredible. And we made it all of 5 feet into the store before Christina said, we have to get these for the girls for Christmas. And it's not just merchandise you can buy. They've got in-house made jerky here in all these different flavors. Despite the temptations of the jerky, burritos, and tacos, I settled on the brisket sandwich, and Romy and I both think that it is perfectly cooked. The meat just falls apart nicely, but it's a little bit too sweet for me. All right, as we make our final approach to Austin and therefore bring to a conclusion this road trip in the 25 Suburban Z71, I want to return to the question I posed at the beginning of this video. Is this a good road trip SUV? And the answer is 100%. I can speak for all of the Brandman family when I give you that nod of approval, because for one, things that blew us away, the ride quality, it was fantastic. The cabin was quiet. It was smooth. The diesel engine provided excellent fuel economy. No seat was uncomfortable. Christina can attest to that, even in the third row. And the tech worked super well. I don't know. There were very few things that we didn't love about this journey, but I will single them out. And a couple of them can actually be solved by just adding on those options. For one, digital rear view mirror would be great to see through anything that's in the back, although that doesn't completely cure the visibility issue with the blind spot at the C-pillar and the fact that the door mirrors aren't as big as I wish they were. And while the adaptive cruise control system worked fine and the lane keep assist was nice to have, Super Cruise, that's definitely an option I would equip if you plan on taking long road trips or even just commuting in the Suburban, because it's so handy for reducing that driving fatigue. And then the final thing is just that the diesel powertrain, yes, it's great on fuel economy, but it's not as robust in terms of the passing power as the 6.2 liter V8 that is an option for this truck. Long story short, would I road trip in this again? 100%. I hope you guys have enjoyed this day in the life road trip edition, and I will see you again next time.